Hello folks, welcome to the 2014 ESL 1 Cologne Counter-Strike Go Championships. My name is Scott. I'll be your host today to bring you some amazing Counter-Strike. We started the day yesterday with 16 of the top teams of the world. 4 of them unfortunately had to go home. They at least took home $2,000. The rest of the crew is still battling today and the rest of the weekend for their cut of $250,000. Not a bad prize purse. Yesterday we also saw some of the new maps in play. We also saw an amazing double overtime, as well as we set a new Counter-Strike Go record of 272,000 of you fans watching the events from home. Amazing stuff. Today, obviously, again, we finish out our group play. Half of the teams today will go home, 4 more, leaving the quarterfinals and the finals. Today, we start off with the #1 team in the world, NiP, taking on the #10 team in the world, Epsilon. That being said, we're not gonna wait any longer for this to start. I'm gonna throw you to the one and only Anders and Semler. Take it away, guys.
Thank you, Scoots. This is it. It's day 2, Anders. We are going to see who gets our first seed and second seed in the groups.
Oh, if yesterday wasn't good enough, today is definitely gonna top that up, I think. Now we have some seriously sick teams left, and to start off with this kind of matchup is gonna be too exciting, I think.
No, it's perfect. This is the perfect start to the day, because yesterday, Group A, same thing, right? But we didn't actually get to see NiP play. They took on Wolf. Instead, we ended up watching Hellraisers versus Epsilon. Pretty big beating that Epsilon dealt out. Now we have to see if they're going to be able to bring the same level of intensity here in their first match versus NiP. I mean, first team in the world. This is a tall mountain that they're going to have to get over.
It definitely will, but then again, NiP have had a bit of a mountain of themselves to climb just because of how much of a slump they've been in.
Yeah.
Gfinity, not a big success for them. ESL, not a big success for them. Now they're at the next major tournament, and they finished second in the last 2 major tournaments. It seems like it is about time that NiP sort of resurrect themselves and get back into this.
No pressure, right?
No pressure at all.
Like, that's what we have to be wondering about right now. Are NiP going to be up to snuff? But let's go ahead and take a look at the groups real quick, because we have 4 groups, as Scooch said, and let's find out which 4 teams have actually been eliminated from the tournament already. In the first day that happened yesterday, we started bright and early, 9 in the morning, and got to see all these fine teams in action. But Group A, this is the one we're talking about right now: Ninjas in Pajamas, Epsilon eSports, Hellraisers, and Team Wolf. Now, Team Wolf grayed out. Those are the guys who couldn't quite make the cut yesterday. They went up against NiP, and they went up against Hellraisers, and it was a bit brutal.
Yeah, I mean, there is nobody in any of these groups that is guaranteed to go through.
No.
That time in Counter-Strike is past. No one can feel safe any longer, and certainly if you come as the bottom seed, you really do have to bring something huge to make it out.
That's the thing. I mean, we're talking about a global event here. We have a team from India. Granted, they weren't able to put up much of a fight, but the thing is like, this is their chance to get on the biggest stage in CS history, pretty much. Yes. I mean, this is the 2nd major of the year, but already we've had a record number of people tuning in. The community has blown up since Katowice. And I mean, we're only in the 2nd day, guys. This is how exciting it is right now to be here at Gamescom in Cologne, Germany.
Yeah, it is going to be such a sick game, this one. And already they are doing the ban here, as we can tell just from this really cool camera we've got going on, showing us a little bit about who's banning what. And I love this system. So actually, we can tell that Overpass was just banned out by Epsilon. Interesting stuff.
Oh no!
Mirage, Nuke, Inferno, Overpass are gone, and
Cobblestone is going to be played. Cobblestone, one of the 2 new maps added into the pool here for this event. This is one of 2, Cobblestone and Overpass. So we're just put into this new 7-map pool, and it will be on Cobblestone that Epsilon and NiP face.
Now, this has very serious implications for this one, and I mean, we were talking about the map, selection beforehand, and I said I thought it was going to be Cash, Overpass, or Cobblestone.
Yep.
For a simple reason. Obviously, Epsilon not going to play Nuke against NiP.
No.
NiP almost certainly not going to play Inferno against Epsilon.
No.
Considering yesterday's performance against Hellraisers, 16-1 from the French team, and it wasn't like Hellraisers were playing badly. Epsilon were just so strong. So I'm not even surprised that we've ended up with this selection. Dust 2 is always a tricky map for both sides, but I think NiP is going to be scared of that too.
They have history there. The last time that they played Dust 2 versus Epsilon and NiP, they lost 16-14. It was close, but it was a best-of-1 scenario again, and it was at G3 just a couple weeks ago, so they weren't going to take it there. Cobblestone getting picked, because the way that this works in the best-of-1 system, guys, in case you're just tuning in today, you missed yesterday, this you get 2 bans basically per team, and then out of the 3 remaining maps in the pool, they get randomly picked. You get 1 out of those 3 randomly picked. So Cobblestone will be the map that everything gets settled on here. We have SF on our screen right now. I mean, SF actually, he had a large part to play versus Hellraisers yesterday. Epsilon's first match of the day, that 16-1 crushing victory that they gave out, him locking down the B site.
And now, in the background here, this is really interesting and very important as well. Peter, former SK member, long history in Counter-Strike. And he is in a position here where he's actually going to be able to coach the NiP team and talk to them while they're in the game.
And this is a huge thing. This is something that's been talked about a lot in the scene lately. I mean, articles have been written up, Lurpus, and then counter articles, and it's just been this back and forth. But right now, PETA is actually pulling a Karn. He's in the VoIP with the team. He's going to be able to communicate live with them. And he's already expressed, I mean, his plan is basically you play your game, you make your calls, but don't worry about what comes next, because I'm going to be watching Epsilon, I'm going to be figuring it out, and I'm going to give you that information during the freeze time. I'm going to tell you what I see. And so this frees a lot of the NiP players to really just focus on their games, focus on getting the frags, because PETA's, you know, he's the eye in the sky. He's looking over their shoulder and he sees the big picture.
Yeah, and the advantage for having a coach in this game is phenomenal.
Monstrous.
There is no doubt about that. It is so big, and we're going to have to see if NiP can actually make full use of it here. But really simple things, like just getting the timing down right, having a 6th guy to tell you, it's time to go. You're both in the right position. Go on my cue right now. Well, it's going to make a big difference.
That's the question, you know, is he actually going to be able to be giving that information out? Or that, because another thing here is that this is actually a very recent change for NiP. I mean, they've only had a couple weeks really to be able to work with PETA. It was a couple weeks. They contacted him, said, hey, can you do this for us? And, you know, talking with PETA before, apparently he was on vacation. He had to go and find a PC somewhere to be able to sit down and watch the games with the teams. So they haven't really had that much time to start developing it, but he's really confident, PETA. He's already seen some minor changes that he's mentioned, and the team has already started to adapt and make the changes in their live games. So we'll see how effective they are here now during this match where first seed of the group is on the line.
Yeah, this is a really big thing, and the problem is for both teams that in the last match of this group is Hellraisers waiting. If you lose, you have to pay Hellraisers, who have put in something ridiculous like 160 hours in 1 week playing Counter-Strike. Obviously kept their games open while they've been eating and sleeping, but they have been practicing something like 10 or 12 hours a day, the CIS team, and that you cannot ignore.
And the other thing is, I mean, they're a real threat to NiP. NiP, when they got this group draw, you can think, okay, you know, we got Wolf. And if you're thinking about this like this, you're like, okay, Wolf, very clear underdog throughout this tournament. Fantastic. We have them in our group. Oh, wait, we have Epsilon, who beat us in a best-of-1 at G3, and we have Hellraisers, who really made us work to get that best-of-3 win at DreamHack Summer. These are 2 teams that are going to put a lot of pressure on NiP. So going into this already, NiP are thinking, well, we already have two very tough opponents in our group that are capable of taking us out. We have to be on our A game. And just getting here earlier, watching them set up, they're focused like laser beams right now, Anders. They didn't talk, they didn't say anything. They kind of like waved at me, nodded at me, like before. And they go right back into the game, and they are very focused right now, NiP. They know what's at stake.
And for me, and this feels so strange saying, because NiP used to be the most dependable team, the most consistent team out of all of them. You could always expect NiP, especially on LAN, to do incredibly well. But right now, I feel like I have a better idea of how well Epsilon are playing than I do NiP. We know they've been putting in the work. We know they've been really hardcore boot camping up until this point, and they've been ready for it. But the question is it actually enough? Because we're not just talking about as a team. We have also some individual performances that have not been up to snuff, amongst other things, Get Right being one of the really big ones. So I'm excited to see how that's going to end up. But I actually think we are about to get into the game, ladies and gentlemen. So the first game of the second day here at Gamescom 2014 ESL 1. Let's get it on.
Oh, yes. And it's still early, and they're just opening the event, so don't worry. Those seats, they're going to fill up. We're going to run out of space in here. It's going to get so hyped. But we are live in the game. It is the Pistol here with Ninjas in Pajamas starting on the CT side on the defense, and Epsilon eSports on the offense. And already Forrest, he gets the first kill. USPS clicks away one, but Soxy strikes right back, and it brings it back to a 4-on-4.
And That is not a favorable trade. Forest is one of the best pistol players in the world, but so is Shoxy. So Shoxy's still alive. Forest is not. Actually, just in terms of who went down there, I think that does make a big difference. We'll see. NiP have a pretty even spread across the map on the CT side here. 1 mid, 1 B, 2 at the A-bomb site, and the bomb is making its way to the A-bomb site right now. And Fiflaren is holding it here. Epsilon not wasting any time. 50 seconds left, and now they are a go. FXO with the kill, but Shoxy does go down. Fiflaren looking for a second kill. Out of bullets. Going to get dropped. Kiyoshima with the headshot. And now it's going to be down to Get Right here. 1 on 3, goes down, and it will be Kiyoshima with a great double kill, and the round for Epsilon.
Very quick round, in fact, not wasting too much time there. 35 seconds left, but still, Epsilon, they figured out how to get out mid-control, essentially. Not mid-control, but slope control, essentially going into that A site. But this is something we were worried about when we first looked at Cobble, because we have to emphasize how new these maps are. We have 0 demos to go off of, 0 pro games. The teams, it's like a hoard of gold that they've been hiding from everybody. They don't want to share their misers right now. They don't want to give away the slightest bit of information that could help their opponents figure out what they've got planned for these new maps. So going into this has been very fresh, but NiP electing to use a very passive hold. Once Forest goes down, Fiflaren was just sitting on that A site and not really putting up too much of a fight. He got 1 kill, but he really needed to be moving a bit more because he ended up getting closed in, and Epsilon really are not a team to be messed with, seeing as how they just delivered a 16-1 victory to Hellraisers, a beating to Hellraisers yesterday. We know what they're capable of now.
Right, GMX will open up the second round. Exist actually with a really good return and doesn't get a second one, unfortunately. They do not have armor on the NiP side, so they're just going to go for some C-sets and get ready for the upcoming 4th round, which is going to be in a, a little while. And actually, that makes me think, the fact that NiP did not invest into armor makes me think they might actually just go for some really heavy artillery, which is something that when we were watching this game, this map, or iBuyPower versus Fnatic, the AWP had nowhere near the effect that we thought it was going to have. No. So I'm wondering if NiP feel differently about it.
It wasn't until the second match with iBuyPower where we started seeing the AWP, the Scar 20 come into play. They were getting really nasty with it. But this is on the CT side. It's a heavily CT favored map. From what we've seen so far of the 2 maps that we got to watch played on Cobble, we've seen CT sides just get rounds and rounds and rounds, comes out very far, like nuke score lines basically. That CT favored. That's what we're talking about here. So we expect NiP to not about giving away 3 rounds. They're just going to get the guns that they need, get those AWPs, get right maybe with the Scar 20, and then just lock it down from there on out. So Epsilon, they got that start that they needed. They got the pistol, and they should get 3 rounds out of it, and that's really going to give them a bit of a boost of confidence going into the rest of this half, seeing as how, well, they already have 3 on the board.
Yeah, such a good start for Epsilon, picking off on where they left off yesterday in Group A, and be the first team to go through to the playoffs in the whole tournament. No one is through right now. We're going to decide right now who it's going to be. Nice shot from Exist, and almost a second one. Kiyoshima could have easily gone down there. Get Right not connecting with the C-set 75, but Fiflaren will, and almost drops a second one. This is not bad at all. Forest is going to pick up a kill here on GMX, and now it is a 1-on-2, and if Kiyoshima is found, it's a 1-on-1.
Kiyoshima way too low. This is well within lethal range here. Forrest can just land a shot. He's going to get smoked off, so he has to change his position up. Look to perhaps come in from a different angle on upper, but really the B bomb side is pretty much a big choke point. You're really going to come through like 1 spot. So Shoxy, they've smoked off one of them. Now they can focus on Skyfall, the room that we're calling basically the drop down, and the main entrance to B. But that's not going to be a real issue here. Shoxy finds Force as he tries to sneak out, and Epsilon will pick up that 3rd round. But that was, you're right, a very expensive round for Epsilon. Very good work done there by NiP.
I could have absolutely, Exist got almost 2 kills in the beginning. If he had dropped 2, I think probably NiP would have won that round, and that's just with pistols. We do see the AWP picked up, and it's on Fiflaren, which is, with NiP, not really a guarantee, but I don't mind the fact that they start off having it that way. Obviously, at some point, they could put it on Forest if they wanted to. We've even seen it put on Get Right.
Oh yeah, Get Right's even gone back to the AWP. We saw that on when they played Nuke, and we were all kind of scratching our heads. But really, the 2 main oppers that we're going to be watching are Fiflaren and Forest. And Fiflaren already starting off strong, picking up FXO, who is basically Epsilon's full-time opper, and we've already seen what FXO is capable of with that sniper rifle. So Fiflaren getting that first frag on him, getting him off the board is huge for NiP. That's a heavy player that's been removed from the map already.
FXO has been such a terror in this game. So just in the few weeks that he's been in it, he's really made a name for himself. So you're right, dropping him not at all bad. And NiP coming from this with a kind of a different setup from what from when we saw iBuyPower Fnatic playing, because they are actually putting Forest, it seems like, dedicated down in the middle, not in the window room, but underneath there. So we'll see if that's actually going to make a big difference here. Flower falling back to safety, and right now 45 seconds left for Epsilon to get something onto this round.
They have to try and sneak their way in, essentially. I mean, they're going once again towards that B site, which is where we see the majority of the action actually happen. NiP putting 2 guys at A seems like the right call to make, seeing as how really the focus has been B most of the time for all the T rounds that we've seen on this map. So we'll see if SF can actually find something, and he does get the headshot on Florin, but Forest will get him right back, and Freiburg stepping in. Everybody getting a piece of the action, in fact, for NiP. A team ace comes through, but that was a very fine 4th round. The big hurdle there for NiP, and they get over it.
I'm intrigued. That seemed like a very well-coordinated defense from the Ninjas in Pajamas. Definitely did. It's hard to tell if Epsilon just managed to pick the wrong approach for that particular round, or if NiP really have studied it as much as it seemed. Now, we'll have to watch more rounds before we make a final judgment, but that was definitely good. And Epsilon, because they lost so many rifles in the 3rd round, they actually can't afford to buy. There was no bomb plant in this round that we just saw, so they are out of money. Pistols is where it's at, and of course a deagle on Kyoshima. Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. Give it to Kyoshima. I mean, he had a hell of a performance on that B side on Inferno, CT side versus Hellraisers yesterday, so we know that everybody is in good shape for Epsilon. Right now, it's not really doing them too much. Forest just catching them as they try and make their way through to the slope onto A, and he's going to get a double. Florin helps him out. Only losing Forest, but Forest gets 3 kills. He's going to be pleased with that.
It's a real patience shown by Forest. The temptation, when you have that M4A1, only 20 bullets, USBS only 12 bullets, the temptation to reload too early, and if you do it, Epsilon will definitely take advantage. There's not enough time to reload. So the fact that he never did it, he just pulled out his pistol, even 2 bullets left, he just waited, and I think that was the right move.
Right. But FXO now has an AWP, and this is the man to watch. As we said, you know, he made a huge entry onto the scene when he recently got picked up by Epsilon, replacing Mistu on the lineup. You know, they needed an AWP, and Epsilon, they found one of the best ones in France, and clearly one of the best ones in the world, because just right from the start, I mean, he already started top fragging for Epsilon, just doing Florin, you know, he got his first frag in that 4th round, or not his first, but his first frag with the sniper rifle. Starting
off this round, FXO actually did tag Florin with a leg shot, so he's down to 18 points of health. GMX taking in a little bit of damage, and they're still... The problem with this map, actually, from the terrorist point of view, is that it's so big that moving around takes a lot of time. So that's what we saw from iBuyPower and Fnatic. Sometimes they end up just running out the clock, basically, and you can't afford to do that. You need to move fast, but you still need to check everywhere. Yeah, and this is the real thing here, is now they're going to be resetting their position. I like this from NiP. They're seeing it come, and there you go. Florin gets the first frag, takes out FXO, and FXO is the linchpin here for Epsilon. They're really counting on him finding that entry with the AWP. And look at Forest. He's the little king of everything up here, has his own tiny fortress, spots the shadow, but SF still takes him down, and GetRight will make sure we're that second kill. Is he gonna re-peek? He knows FXO is out there somewhere out in the woods with a sniper rifle waiting for him, and Kiyoshima's close. They're moving up. Florin is gonna go down, and it's now a 1-on-2 for Freiburg, coming in right from the B bomb side. He's up in that connector area, moving out into the bomb side. They're not spotted him. Now it's a 1-on-1. Freiburg moving up against Kiyoshima, and can they pick up this kill? This would be huge for Epsilon, but the bomb is down. Freiburg does not get it. Kiyoshima with a great double kill, and it will be Epsilon to take a 4th round. And NiP, I'm not sure they probably have just enough money to force it up here, but it's not going to be too confident. And actually, yeah, they will be able to buy.
They should be able to buy, right? They have the money for it, but again, they're going to have to spend everything they've got here. They do actually have enough to be able to get Florin with that AWP again, but what really happened there is that Florin, I mean, he got 2 big frags in that round. That was great work, but the position that he holds on that A site at that point is so vulnerable. As soon as Epsilon pass a certain point and start getting close to that site, he's exposed from everywhere. He's going to get crossfired down, and we saw the effect that had. You know, as soon as Epsilon break the line and get onto that A site, Florin just gets taken out immediately, and they do manage to turn it into a 2-on-2 and soon a 2-on-1. So Epsilon just with a really strong performance there in that round. But that bounces it back right now. NiP, they pick up 2, but there you go. Florin, he starts off strong here in the 5th, or the 7th.
Look at the map knowledge coming into place. He's definitely been practicing this. You can tell right now that NiP have done their homework. That is very cool. That is a big tell, a big sign that NiP are well prepared to play on Cobblestone.
No, Cobblestone, the main entrance essentially is on the left side there. We have A apps, so that's one main entrance to get in, and then other than that, you have to go through Slope, which is this huge exposed place. So we really expect Epsilon to be funneled more towards B, which is where we saw the majority of the action yesterday when iBuyPower were playing the map. And now, once again, it looks like Epsilon are just going to start sneaking their way out here, but there are 3 players alive on this site for NiP right now.
GMX trying to creep in. No one spotted him yet. He's actually getting really far in before Spotted and Exist will take him down. That's unfortunate. Second one not going to happen. And actually, look at this. Freiburg and Get Right are going to fall as well. Forrest all the way from the back, looking to see if he can pick something up. And there's also Fiflaren holding with the AWP. A lot of flashbangs, a lot of smoke. Can he pick up the kill? He's scoped up. He's also going to be alone now in a 1-on-3. And the bomb will be going down here for Epsilon.
Yeah, really, at this point, Fifth needs to just kind of back off and play very safe. They need to hold on to this AWP. I mean, he is in a 1v3. He knows damage has been done to Epsilon, but Epsilon have had the time to set up the Triangle of Doom on this B site, and they're even on the hunt right now, Epsilon. They want to get this gun off of NiP because they know that NiP are hurting for money. They know that they don't have a whole lot of cabbage, and FXO finds a great headshot, takes him out, and this should mean that NiP are going to be forced to eco. Epsilon getting a crazy number of rounds at the beginning of this half. If they get 6 rounds right now on the T side, we saw how difficult it was to get rounds on the T side of Cobble yesterday. If they're able to get a very strong lead here right off the start, the pressure is going to just come off of their shoulders because they know they have the easier half to look forward to afterwards.
Well, we think so anyway. We're not 100% sure. It does feel like it should be. I mean, in 1.6, it definitely was a very CT-sided map. And from what we've seen so far, if you play correctly, you should get the majority rounds on the counter-terror side. But I think it's still too early to pass, final judgment exactly on how these teams are going to be playing. So right now I agree, Epsilon off to a really good start. 6-2 is good if, no matter what map it is, you're doing a fine job.
Based on what little data we have, right? We'll say it that way. What little info, what little we've seen of these maps, because we have to emphasize just how new they are. I mean, the teams have hardly had a month to practice them. And so what we're going to see is kind of just, coming down to aim and coming down to the basics here. We should see very vanilla play on both of these maps. Not seen Overpass on the mainstream yet, but it did get played yesterday. We just had 2 Cobble maps to go off of, but now we have to see exactly how Epsilon decide to handle this anti-eco from their side, because we've seen how effective NiP are with the CZs up close. A lot of angles that they get to hide behind, and Epsilon could be running into a blender right here, and there you go. Freiburg gets 1. He's not going to get 2.
Exist actually picks up an AK here and can't connect with the spray, so the bomb site is going to be lost. That could have been a very dangerous situation for Epsilon. They've almost lost 4 members. It could have been nearly Shoxia left alone at this point in time, but Epsilon managed to stabilize, and this is obviously very important for them. These anti-eco rounds have proven to be so important in the game, and they will finish it off with a kill on Fiflaren and Get Right both. So now 6-2, and NiP's economy, well, they will have enough to buy and even go for a glass cannon orb if they feel like it, but I think they're going to stick with the rifles.
This is, I mean, they have to, basically. They're limited on the money. They can't even get full nades right now. That's the thing. 1 kit picked up on Get Right. So he did manage to get a kill, at least in that anti-eco, so he should be, well, he has a little bit of bonus money to work with here, but now we have to see what the kind of setup NiP are going to go for. And once again, it's going to be 2 guys waiting on A, 3 guys setting up at B. Smoke should be going down, but NiP are waiting quite a bit of time before they do good. They want to burn time off the clock, seeing as how they have so few of them to work with right now. They want to try and hold on to them as long as possible to really put the pressure on Epsilon, play the time here, force Epsilon into an uncomfortable position, not the other way around, obviously.
And the Frenchmen have been moving slowly across the map, so I don't even blame NiP for waiting as much as they are, but you're right, it's a really good point, because that does make a big difference on any map, but obviously, especially on a map like this, where you have kind of small chooks going in from the different areas. Get Right with the opening kill on GMX is a nice start. Fiflaren, instead of the AWP, is now hiding in this connector from long to mid, basically, and he is going to pick up the first kill on SF. He's going to realize that there are more people coming. Exist with a kill, actually helping out. Forrest with 1 more, and now Kiyoshima, who's been doing so well, is going to get picked off by Forrest. So a nice double kill, and NiP holding on to that round rather well.
Yeah, timely rotation there from Exist. They picked off GMX very early there, so they were able to get the info that they needed. Like, okay, well, there isn't actually anybody over here that B that we can see. And just to be safe, NiP rotate Exist over to that A site. And the crossfire setup there between Fiflaren and Forrest was very effective, as we saw. So Fiflaren with the crucial first kill as they come out of A apps towards that slope area. But then afterwards, they're able to lock it down. Very strong round there from NiP. But that's what we need more of, essentially. We need NiP basically to lock it down from here on out. That's what they need. They need the remaining 6 rounds in this half, essentially. So we're in the 10th round now. But NiP, they're not going to be happy unless they can pick up 9-6 here. That's what's at stake right now. A perfect remainder to this half.
There's the task ahead, and it's not an easy one either. Epsilon can still buy even after losing a round like that. FXO with an AWP, and there is one on Fiflaren as well. And FXO has no fear. You can just tell, and this is very much his playing style. Like a couple of other sort of iconic Orbers, this is what they're like. Some of there's just the mentality going in to playing with the sniper rifle. If you start showing fear, it's not going to work out. Doesn't get the shot there, but could have definitely been an opening, and that would have been on fear. Who was actually there in the middle? That was Forrest.
That was Forrest, yeah. Forrest playing the mid area. Fiflaren has taken over AAPS right now. He's looking down the hallway, as we can see here, making sure that this 1 point of entry, essentially, I mean, that is a very narrow choke that Fiflaren can hold with that AWP, which makes it so powerful. It's kind of like B-Apps on Mirage, right? You get that AWP up there, you're going to be in for a very sad time. Now Epsilon decide they don't want to have anything to do with A site this time around. They're going to group up and gather for a B rush, but again, 3 members here holding solid for NiP. This is going to be very tough. There's so many angles to check for Epsilon as they come rushing out, and Freiburg already starts off strong. He's going to line up for the spray, and he gets 2. Exist gets 1.
Yeah, but they still need to hold on to this site here. Kyoshima is low. Oh my god, Kyoshima, are you kidding? 3 kills in quick succession, and it's going to be a 2-on-2 now. Forrest and Fiflaren, they have the health advantage, but Kyoshima seems to be on absolutely rare form right now. The bomb will go down with just 5 seconds left on the clock. There's a great grenade to drop Shocks, but it is exactly 2 seconds too late now. Kyoshima, 1-on-2, just defending this bomb. He's going to have to go for the ace here. He's got the AK for it, but he's not going to connect. Forrest will take him down, and that will be another round for NiP, but what is up with Kyoshima? He's got 16-4-4. He's outfragging everybody by a mile and a half right now.
This is the power of Epsilon, really. They're all coming into their own. With the addition of FXO to the lineup, that takes pressure off of Shoxy. Shoxy no longer has to, carry the op for the team. He's more able to just make sure that communication is flowing on the team, that everybody is able to just get the info that they need and execute. And this opens it up for GMX, for Kyoshima, for SF to have more liberty in their play, and this is the result. Kyoshima, I mean, yesterday had a fantastic on Inferno, just completely obliterating them, and he was definitely at the top of that scoreboard. Now, today, again, versus NiP here on Cobble. So getting that plant is good, but it isn't just enough to be able to get a buy out of this. But Epsilon are going to be perfectly happy to hang back and just try and do as much damage as they can. NiP are the ones who can't afford to spend any money right now.
I definitely agree with that assessment, and now they actually do rush into Skyfall and trying to see if they can jump Get Right. They did so successfully. Shoxy are not trying to do too much more than get a kill on Fiflaren if he can, and C-Set is all enough to bring him down, but now the cavalry has arrived, and I think that's going to be quite enough to deal with Shoxy. 8 bullets left in the clip, and I think he's going to probably go down any second here. So a decent round from NiP Exist, picking up a quad kill, and it will be 5-6. I feel like Get Right, he's at the bottom of the scoreboard right here with 4 kills, Freiburg 2. But I think actually this is more a result of the position they're playing and not so much a result of their individual performances right now. Yeah. They are kind of in a spot where you either come up huge or you die very quickly.
Exactly. Is something that Epsilon are really going to, but also if they get overwhelmed in the positions that they're playing, which are, I believe, Get Right's playing Skyfall, not quite sure.
Yeah, he is.
But that's the kind of thing. It's like either you hit your shots or you're going to get completely just run over because 3 guys are going to come jumping down on your face pretty much. So not a fun time for Get Right, but NiP still securing a round, and they're 1 round away now from tying it up. But Epsilon have now got the money to go for a full buy here.
And the French team is trying something different. This time they're actually just all funneling down the middle, see if they can just overwhelm Forrest here. He's behind the rock just waiting, and there are a lot of people waiting for him. GMX will open up, Get Right quickly, rotating over. They need to move fast. Smokes up for Epsilon. It's a really good smoke, just trying to zone NiP out of that bomb site. Fiflaren is on the other angle. He's going to get taken down by Kyoshima. Exist coming in, he drops to SF, and now Get Right and Forrest, Freiburg, sorry, are left, and just going to be Freiburg. NiP ending up sort of going in 1 at a time, and I'm not sure Freiburg should even think about doing this 1-on-4.
1-on-4, if he could find a pick really quickly here, but everybody's at full HP nearly, apart from GMX on Epsilon, so it's going to be very tough for him. He decides to get out here because basically if he can find that pick, if he could catch somebody off guard, and he almost does, nearly drops Shoxy. He could go back for Shoxy, but it's not going to happen. GMX faces him in the end, gets that kill, and now NiP, they're looking down the barrel at a potentially an eco. We have to see what the state of their money is right now.
They could force it up, and I think they will in fact force it up, so they do have just enough money for it. Fortunately for them, some of the other rounds they played just here, they ended up at least, coming out of it with 4 or 5 members alive, so that's good news. Well, 5-7 in this first half here, and Epsilon are looking really strong. This is a powerful performance once again from the French team, and quite exciting to watch them play at this level. See if NiP can change the tide here, because if they lose this round, they will be ecoing, and Epsilon will have more than just a good half on their hands. Really quick rush to the B-bomb site this time. Kyoshima connects with the spray. Freiburg with a good return. He needs a lot more. Freiburg has to step it up huge. He's gonna go down, and now Fiflaren has shown up with the AWP.
He's got that AWP. He can put the pressure on here if he can just find the angle to work, but smoke's already going to be going down. That's going to be cutting this side up, making it more difficult for NiP to be effective. Kyoshima finds Get Right. And this is now that 2-on-3 scenario where Fiflaren is taking point, but he is not getting anybody to shoot. One good thing is that his position, he's basically cutting Epsilon off from that bomb site. Catches one man out in the open and can't land the shot.
And he keeps moving up, and now he's alone and in complete middle of nowhere. He's going to go down. Kyoshima is just on a complete tear. He's got 20 kills. The closest to him is 12 on assist. That is what's happening. Kyoshima, I mean, the whole of Epsilon is playing well right now, but if Kyoshima hadn't been doing what he's doing right here, this first half would be entirely different.
Yeah, I mean, he's completely on a tear right now. This is something, when you have the top tier, when a player starts to roll like this, it's so tough to deal with them. It really is so difficult when everything seems to be going right for Kyoshima. He's always getting his crosshair on the headshot, and that's just how it is right now. And NiP, they keep getting cut up. It really seems like Epsilon have put a lot of work into this map. Like, they've really got it figured out, because they're getting all the right smokes down, and they're forcing NiP into these situations where it's 1v2, 1v3, and odds are heavily going to be stacked Epsilon's way in those cases. So when it comes down to it, Epsilon are just having a great T-half. They've really figured out how to make this map work for themselves.
But this is a really good start to an eco round from NiP. They've picked up 2 kills and almost dropped SF as well, thanks to Forest and Freiburg. Forest could have easily got the kill on SF2, just hit one more bullet, that would have been it. FXO creeping up, is going to take down Fiflaren, who maybe should have been hiding a little bit more. And down the middle, I think we do have Get Right taking down SF, going for a second one. Get Right can't connect. And now it's a 2-on-2. Exist hiding right at the edge of the smoke. Tries for the spray, not quite connecting. Going to go down. And Kyoshima will pick up the kill, not surprisingly. Freiburg, 1-on-2, pistol in hand. Gets the AK at least.
He has the AK now. But it's a 1v2. This is feasible here. Freiburg, is he going to actually try and sneak his way out through this smoke? He's kind of dancing on the edge of it, and there you go. Gets through it. Looking for an angle. If he could find the shot, this would be huge. He's trying to check the likely hiding spots here. But now he's kind of caught in a box, and Epsilon know exactly where he is. He's still got plenty of time, though. That bomb has only just been planted. Him off guard.
And the problem is FXO is on the crossfire. As soon as Freiburg walks forward here, he's going to be walking right into the scope. There's no way he knows how to check this, so that will be the end of it. 9-5. So close for NiP in this eco round. I mean, it's a great round. Unfortunately, they needed to win it and not just to make it close, and they are going to buy it up this round. They will have the money to do that. But we're at the 15th round. And 9-6 right now sounds a lot better than 10-5.
Yeah, well, from what we've seen yesterday, 9-6 at least, you know, for the T side is a phenomenal first half here from Epsilon. And you don't count NiP out until one or the other has 16 rounds, right? That's pretty much how it goes. NiP are absolutely capable of giving the same performance on the T side. So going into this, Epsilon are definitely the team that need the buffer, I think. They need to have a fantastic start, because going into the T side, NiP are absolutely capable of just landing all the shots. Forest or Fiflaren, they can really step it up here. So
it seems like Fiflaren has found a bit of a castle of his own, more like a hay fortress, so it's really not that impressive, but still, I guess it's better than nothing. He moved out immediately.
He's in a room. Now just needs to be on fire.
Exactly.
I mean, hey.
Wow, what is going on now? FXO actually jumped down and took some damage early on, and Forest is covering from behind the smoke here. SF winching forward. Fiflaren is right around this corner, so they're going to try and check it. They will look as many places as they can, but
they didn't see him.
Oh, he does get him down. A great headshot from SF, and Fiflaren's position instantly compromised.
Yeah, peeking forward again, and that's like timing right now for Fiflaren. It's just not really working out for him. He's walked into the crosshairs 2 times now, and that kind of that severely weakens the defense on A site, but more importantly, it weakens the defense on B site now, because we've seen how important it is to have as many bodies as possible on the CT side on B site to just stop the push that can come rushing out, and they've been forced to rotate an extra man over to cover that A site now, NiP. So it's going to come down to Get Right now. He's going to get flashed, but manages to turn away in time to negate it. In the meantime, his teammate Freiburg waiting on this A site. He needs to get in a position where he can stop the push.
Get Right goes down. GMX patiently waiting here. Freiburg looking for some feet to shoot. It's going to be a headshot instead. Super Fighter going down. 8 seconds left. 7 seconds. They got to move quick here. GMX comes in. There's not enough time. 4 seconds. They can no longer put down the bomb. All NiP have to do is hide. And Freiburg not going to hide from anyone. Takes down FXO and makes it 9-6 for the first half. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. The first half of this game over with. Second half's coming up any second. And there we see a shot of the players and the crowd as well.
Oh, and Navi. Look at that beard. That's a godlike beard right there. And Edward's been playing like a god too, man. He is so good right now. This tournament, last week, Edward's been having terrific performances. Is exactly what we want to see. Somewhere on this screen, there's a dev as well.
There is
just saying.
There is a Valve developer down there waiting.
And he didn't even smile either, man. He's got nerves of steel. He didn't give it away. So up to you guys to figure it out.
Some focus coming out here from Epsilon. They are looking. They're looking forward to the second half, and I don't blame them. They do get a little bit of time to just adjust themselves, and they're not looking super excited, but I would say maybe hyper-focused.
Hyper-focused. They have to keep their cool right now. I mean, NiP, same thing. We even saw, I mean, there's been frustration on NiP's side. I mean, we even saw Freiburg reaction from him throughout that half where he would kind of slump back in his chair. I mean, NiP cannot be happy with that first round performance. Peta behind. I mean, look at that nervous twitch going on with his hand right now. I mean, the pressure is on. And not only because there's, we can say, I guess, going off of the last maps that we've had, you know, they're kind of behind. But the pressure on them is basically, you know, you're the top team. You're the ones who are supposed to come to this tournament and dominate. You've made the finals of the first two majors. We expect you now to get into the finals again, essentially, and, you know, rightfully claim what is yours as the best team in CS history. That is everything on their shoulders. So Epsilon are the guys who actually, you know, they have something to prove, but going into this group, Epsilon, we were expecting a strong performance, but for them to basically dominate Hellraisers and now have a great performance versus NiP, that's huge for them.
It definitely is, and coming off of a really disappointing Gfinity tournament where they had a lot of internal issues and a lot of really frustrating experiences with the Gfinity tournament in itself, just, you know, from lack of sleep, other things like that. I think they're feeling much better at the moment. So let's see. Second half is coming up right here. It's going to be NiP versus Epsilon. So welcome to the show, everyone. This is the ESL 1 Cologne 2014 first match of day 2, and this is to decide who goes out of the group first or who gets to play Hellraisers. So there's a lot on the line right now.
This is huge, and this pistol round is going to be everything. Epsilon ahead 9-6, and if they can pick up this pistol round, it gets out of control fast. So NiP, they have to start landing the shots. Get right already up here by Skyfall, and he's actually going to get spotted out as well. Takes a little bit of damage there. Or not sure if he did. Looked like he did, but then again, GMX, no reaction from him. So it's kind of just Get Right making noise pretty much on this side of the map to kind of gauge the defense, see exactly how Epsilon are holding, if they're holding aggro or not.
Sharks spots a couple of people, which is good news because they already know Get Right's over there. So now they know that there's definitely a big spread in the terrorist forces, and they need to figure out exactly where to put their defense. And, well, Kiyoshima and FXO are both dropping low, but no kills happening yet. And that is obviously the big difference here.
Yeah, I like Forrest swapping between burst fire and not when he goes for the jump peek like that. You know, point blank, burst Glock, he can do it. It's Forrest. He's got a pistol. He does magical things.
Look at Epsilon. They've stacked 4 members in this bomb site, and NiP could be walking right into it. This is actually a bit of a gamble from the French side, but I love it. Get Right, though, infiltrating the middle. SF is going to get the headshot, and that's the first kill of the round. And now NiP decide it's time to go. Fiflaren spots the corner. FXO should be going down here. Flash goes in, and Fiflaren picks up the kill. They keep rushing in. GMX and SF, and it's falling apart for NiP. Exist is going to go down, and Freiburg falls, and the Frenchmen stay alive. Super fighter with 4 kills. And Epsilon now, they're very close.
That USP going to action. I mean, one-shot headshot with the CT pistols. Glock at range like that, you need 2 to do it. And NiP just getting caught. That's the thing. They're going in through that choke point from A apartments. Epsilon making the right call, getting the info, noticing, okay, well, there isn't a whole lot of action going on here at B. Let's rotate an extra guy over to A. Okay, let's put 2 guys over to A now. And everything going right. They had 4 guys there holding solid, making sure that NiP could not get out of that choke. It's like they had him in a full Nelson practically, you know, just like the illegal chokehold. That's exactly what Epsilon had going for them. But now NiP are trying to change it up, perhaps go to this B site. They did not get a plant in that pistol round either, so they're just going to be going for some pistols here in this round, seeing if they can't get any damage done. But GMX already starting off strong, picking up 1.
Yeah, FXO will follow it up here. Some good kills coming in from NiP, but not sure it's going to be quite enough for it. Freiburg is going to go down as well. Forrest and Freiburg both falling to Super Fighter, who picks up a triple kill to follow up on the quad kill he had last round. So that's obviously pretty good. Start to the second half here for him individually. No bomb plant for NiP, which means they will have to eco once more, making it probably 12-6 before we start seeing rifles on NiP. And then the big question is, how are they going to be able to play this map on the other side?
Slowly, patiently. Like, I really see NiP, you know, trying to go for little plays like that in pistol where Get Right kind of, you know, plays a snake in the grass roll, does his thing, sneaks around the map because Cobble is huge. Maybe, you know, he can get behind enemy lines, infiltrate them, and then give some openings for NiP, but we'll see if that actually happens. Exist has now managed to sneak his way over here into Castle Balcony.
Yeah, SF up close. Really good shots coming in here. He's going to go down eventually, Fufiflaren. And Kiyoshima all the way in the back with the scout in hand as well. Got to be a little bit careful, but the backup is coming in from behind really quickly, and they weren't anticipating Shox here. He does get the one kill, picks up the second one, leaving Fufiflaren alone. So a pretty good rotation from Epsilon. A good kill actually comes in at the very end on Kiyoshima. A very expensive round for Epsilon here, and actually way too expensive.
He's going to get the plant as well.
Right, he gets the bomb plant here. That is huge play.
Sick play from Fufiflaren. This is big. 2 kills for him, a plant. They've gotten 3 kills already in this round. This is massive money going NiP's way. This is really setting it up for that 19th round bye. This is best case scenario right now for NiP. If he could somehow find 1 more kill, that would be huge. This is now going to be Epsilon trying to sneak their way around. They're playing together, which is good. They're going to try and cover angles together, not let Fufiflaren pick them off one at a time. But Fufiflaren is playing this so well, listening to the in-game sounds. He knows somebody's defusing now. If he can get this kill, it'd be big, but he's not quite able to do it with that P250.
No, but you have to admire the movement of Fufiflaren in this sense. I mean, the game sense is definitely there, and that could have actually worked. If you got that first kill, the other guy would have either had to commit or stop defusing, and that would have been a really awkward situation. So that came dangerously close. Absolutely in love with that play. Now it's 6-12 moving into the 19th round. Auto Sniper is picked up on Kiyoshima, and there's an AWP on Fufiflaren. We'll have to see if NiP can somehow bring this back, or if it's going to be Epsilon doing coming out first in Group A.
You're curious where, and it is going to be at the back of B site, so Kiyoshima is really just going to kind of set up and try and cover some angles with that Scar 20. No AWP, and no AWP for FXO either, so I'm really looking forward to when FXO can actually afford to get that sniper rifle and see what he's capable of on CT side Cobble. Right now, we've seen what Fufiflaren is capable of. Now we have to see what he's able to do here on the T side if he can find an angle to work. But NiP are slowly infiltrating the A slope area right now, moving into A apps now as well. And FXO, he's currently actually waiting up the ladder, not something we see too often.
Wants to pick off someone who's maybe carelessly just going to be strolling by. And NiP, they do have a bunch of people down here, and again, I think it's Get Right they have over by the B bomb site. So seems like the standard setup for NiP on this map. The default position, just send Get Right B, see if anything happens. The rest are going to be creeping up towards the A bomb site, and can they deal with FX Job here? Actually, Get Right does pick up the opening kill there on GMX, so that's really good. FX Joe's waiting. Timing is everything. He's going to be jumping down, does make some noise, but not enough. Oh, are you kidding? He gets the knife. Then the FAMAS out. He only gets 1 more kill, but that might be enough. Absolutely brilliant that NiP are destroyed. That play is more than just a knife kill. That is humiliation, and that's exactly what Epsilon needed to put NiP very far down.
Oh man, and now you can see the satisfied smiles there. I think Epsilon are feeling like they've got this game. That was a huge round, and that's got to be soul-shattering for NiP. I mean, at that point, not only did you get knifed, but you just got eviscerated. You got completely closed in on, sandwiched on slope. They never got out. NiP, that's a very tough round to come back from now, and they are still very far behind. So it has to be that 1 round at a time scenario. They have to pull a Cloud9 basically right now.
Yep, you're right. Very similar situation. It was a whole number of rounds, but this is a pretty big comeback.
I just love how FXO, you know, he kind of hesitates at the FAMAS, and he's like, I'm going to do it. How many times do you get to knife somebody on the main stage at a major, right?
Not that often. I guarantee you, Shoxy's going to have a conversation with him afterwards saying, do not ever do that again. Ever, ever, ever.
You get the kill, and that's it. You don't try and take the risk and go for something like that. Yeah. But at the same time, yeah. You know,
Shoxy is not a fan of this stuff.
He hates that, yeah.
Well, that's it. Sometimes controlling your troops is not as easy as it seems. Shoxy's kind of low. FXO taking a bit of damage, and Shoxy will still pick up a kill before he goes down to Exist. And now the push is on Exist with a good double kill. They need a lot more, and there's a firing squad. Forrest, the only one left here, 1-on-3, and he's in a good position. If he only had a teammate now, right now, it'd be beautiful. He goes down to SF, turns around, sees him through the smoke. 14-6. NiP, I think, are not going to be able to do this. They're going to have to eco now, or they could force it up. In fact, we're going to have a little bit of a pause coming in here, maybe some sort of issue.
The technical pause. I see Freiberg waving his arms around right now, so we'll see if Maybe it's a problem with his screen or something like that. I'm not sure, but we shall see what's going on here. We have the big picture now and see exactly what's going on for NiP, but it seems like they are the ones who have initiated the pause. We see Peta crouching behind. He's, talking, and Fiflaurin and GetRight are both looking back at him right now. So this is something, in case you're just tuning in right now. Got a coach, and as we can see, he is actually on the voice chat with them right now. He's able to talk to them during the rounds. It's essentially like having a sixth man, because he's already told his teammates, or he's already told Exist, don't worry about making the calls as to what's going on down the line. Focus on your game. Focus on the calls that are happening in this round. I'm the one keeping track of the big picture. I'm the one who's going to be making sure that anything that Epsilon do, they get picked up. Epsilon in the meantime are just having a jolly old time right there. Shoxy, look at that smile.
Yeah, and they have good reason to be feeling this way right now, Epsilon. They're very, very close to being able to pull this through. First in the
group, and you are with NiP, you're with Hellraisers. That is, that is an achievement right there. That's a statement from Epsilon basically saying, well, here we are, gentlemen. G3 was not a fluke. We played very well there. We played very well at DreamHack Summer. Now you're going to have to start taking us seriously, because if we take first seed in a group going into the playoffs tomorrow, it means that they're going to face a second seed team in the playoffs tomorrow. So they should have the easier match. This is a huge opportunity for Epsilon to just come in big and make a statement.
We'll see. Technical issues are obviously being sorted out as we speak, and the players are getting a bit of breathing room. If anything, this probably works out in favor of NiP. If you want to make a comeback, there's nothing better than having a bit of a strange pause and then
tactical puppy pause.
Exactly, getting back into it. I don't think that's actually what NiP are doing. They don't really have a reputation for doing stuff like that. But that's what they don't. They've never been known to do that. So we have no evidence to suggest that that's what's happening. Basically, no track record.
Okay, well, let's see exactly what happens here now, as NiP they have 6 rounds, but they do have the money to get a pretty good buy going, and we are in live the round. 21 rounds on the board, and they are going to be moving into it. NiP once again sending GetRight over to the B site to try and scope things out, maybe get a pick, catch somebody getting greedy on Epsilon's side. It's Shoxy with an AWP right now, though, not FXO, which is very interesting, and Shoxy makes it work. He picks off Fiflaurin to start.
Yeah, Shoxy proven time and again that he's perfectly capable, not just on this map, but on Dust 2 or any other map, to pick that weapon up. So this is getting even more scary now for NiP. Gets the kill on Forest and then just escapes again. 2 more rounds for Epsilon, and they will have done it.
This is brutal right now, and we've seen how effective this kind of hold is, but GetRight will find SF. GMX returns on GetRight, however, and that's the B-side push coming in from NiP. Cleared out, GetRight, the sneaky snake, gets caught in the trap, and now Epsilon, they have a man advantage, they have the health advantage, they have the gear advantage, and they have the firepower advantage. It's just going to come down to legendary play from NiP. Forest, we need performance, we need one of his performances right now.
Yeah, but this is actually a thing that's been missing throughout this game. We've seen how Kiyoshima's been picking up incredible triple kills, but that kind of style has not come out in the same way for GetRight or Forest or anyone else from NiP, and that's a big problem. GMX does go down here, but Freiburg, or so Exist, is going to be alone in the 1-on-3, gets picked off. Shoxy, 2 quick off shots, and it is a triple kill for him. 15-6 match and map point for Epsilon.
Map point. 150,000 people tuning in here for the first match of our group day here, the second day of Gamescom, the second major of the year. And NiP are on the ropes, 1 round away from being forced to face Hellraisers for the 2nd seed match. Epsilon eSports 1 round away from one of the best performances that they've had so far on LAN, making it out of the groups at the major 1st seed. So now we see Fiflaurin just leading the charge. It's going to be a straight up change of pace, going straight to B, but SF is having none of it. He gets 1, 2 quick kills come back in for NiP, however, but Kyoshima, he's still alive with the Scar 20, and he gets 2.
And NiP not really quick enough to realize that was going to be the angle, and Kyoshima not giving them any time to adjust, just moving up. He spots Exist, and that's going to probably be a kill. No, Exist with the headshot, and we're back into a 2-on-2, but they will pick up the bomb just for a second here. I think they saw FXO, but Exist is focused. Grenade rains in and takes him out, and now it is a 1-on-2 for Forest here, and this one is for the map. He's going to have to pick this up. He's got time for it, but does he have the aim?
He's done the damage. Currently caught, and there you go. Shoxy with the headshot will close it out through the wall, and Epsilon will take 1st seed in Group A here at Gamescom. One of the strongest performances yet from this team, one of the up-and-coming teams, and this is huge. Yet another top-tier French team has now entered the scene here. They are in the playoffs tomorrow, and they look great, man. This is just huge for them.
Yes, it is. They do look absolutely fantastic, and on a new map as well, showing that they have also put in the homework to make sure that they can get this. They knew it was a risk that it can end up being on this map, and obviously, whatever preparations they put in, it has paid off.
We were talking about it at the beginning, right? Cobble was an option, especially with this this pick ban system, with how it works. You know, 2 bans per team, and then the remaining 3 maps, it's randomly picked. So, you know, Cash could be in there. That's a good map for NiP. There's other maps in there, but Cobble being in the pool makes it so that there is a 1 in 3 chance. That was a map. That's what they had to risk. And it comes down to Cobble to settle this.
Look right here. I would not be surprised if this was the conversation where Shoxy says, no more knifing. Not ever again are we going to see anyone knifing anyone in this tournament, no matter what happens.
I mean, $1,500 though. $1,500 is a lot of money, Anders.
That is not what it's about. Not for Shoxy. I will ask him. I'll find out for you guys. If we have a break and I have time, I will ask Shoxy exactly what this conversation is.
If we have an interview now with the players, we'll find that needs to be a question that gets asked as well. But we shall see. I mean, NiP are going to be talking it over right now, just basically going over that game, what happened there, because you know they weren't able to really put it together for their CT half, and going into the T half, it never really seemed to get the momentum.
So say anything about NiP that you will, but the fact that they're actually talking like this and having a conversation is a very good way of handling it if you're a team and you still have the rest of a major to play potentially.
You have another map.
Yeah, because it's actually something that we saw at Gfinity, where some teams, when they lost, they just left.
Yeah.
I mean, they just walked outside, not even together, just some, not going to mention anyone, but that's definitely a result that we saw. Yeah. So staying tuned is a really good idea, just keeping it with them. And now we're back on the camera, guys, so what a game.
That's the thing. That's what we expect from NiP, really. I mean, they've been together for 2 years now. They just recently, like last week, had their 2-year anniversary. Same lineup. Best team in the world. Best streak in CS history. Best everything, basically. These guys are essentially the Tyrannosaurus Rex of CS. And Epsilon just managed to land the 1 in a million shot, basically, with that blow dart to take them down.
Well, the fact is the gap is closing between NiP and everybody else. And I would say at this point, it's not even really closing. It has closed now. Not just between NiP and Epsilon, but between NiP and everyone else. And Epsilon and everyone else, too. And this is why this major tournament is going to be just as good as it's been so far. It's going to be even better when we get to
going into these matches, right? We had interviews up on HLTV. And it was already, okay.
We are getting ready, so let's put it over to Scott. Take it away, Sir Scoots.
Thank you, guys. Wow, what a first match of the day, that's for sure. I don't think a lot of people thought NiP would get upset. So obviously the next match is going to be NiP versus Hellraisers, and this is loser go home. Winner will come out of the group in 2nd place. So, we're used to NiP in the finals. They've been in the last 2 major finals, so obviously they've got a long road ahead of them to get back to those finals, let alone win it. So right after this commercial break, we'll bring you NiP versus Hellraisers. Thanks for stopping by.
Gaming-PCs und Notebooks mit neuester Hardware sofort nach Release gibt's bei one.de, der Nummer 1 für Gaming in Deutschland. Riesige Auswahl, perfekter Service und schnelle Lieferung. Kauf schlau und freu dich auf PCs, Notebooks, Tablets und Zubehör für noch mehr Spielspaß. Geh jetzt auf one.de und klick dich rein. One.de, your system, your choice. Gaming-PCs und Notebooks mit neuester Hardware sofort nach Release gibt's bei one.de, der Nummer 1 für Gaming in Deutschland. Riesige Auswahl, perfekter Service und schnelle Lieferung. Kauf schlau und freu dich auf PCs, Notebooks, Tablets und Zubehör für noch mehr Spielspaß. Geh jetzt auf one.de und klick dich rein. One.de, your system, your choice.
Welcome back, folks, to the 2014 ESL 1 Cologne Counter-Strike Go Championships. I am still Scott, and the next match is do or die time. We're finishing out Group A, and that leaves us with, again, the #1 team in the world, NiP. Not getting any easier for them. Now they're taking on the #6 team in the world in Hellraisers. Hellraisers obviously didn't have a great day yesterday. They fell to the lower part of this group. I think in talking to Angel, they would rather have had a little revenge against Epsilon on that 1-16 loss, but again, they're ready for NiP. a lot, as always, is going to come down to the map choices this weekend. We just saw Cobble played. Maybe we'll see Overpass. Maybe we'll see Cobble again. Again, NiP also has the addition of PETA, so during the break, they've been in a serious powwow, just chit-chatting, probably talking about maps and obviously trying to figure out what went wrong with Cobble. I imagine they would much rather play some of the established maps, both teams. But again, that's the advantage of this weekend, is if you have played one of these new maps and you're comfortable on it, that's where the veto meta game kind of comes into play. And you're going to play towards the strength of one of those new maps and hope that the other team doesn't ban both of them. Again, who knows what the maps are going to see. You'll see them when I see them. Again, $250,000 on the line. First place taking home $100,000, thanks to the fans and the community of Counter-Strike that are opening those esports cases. And again, all the way down to the last team here in 16th place, they will also take home some money, $2,000. So everyone who came to the event is at least going home with a couple $1,000s in their pocket. Not a bad weekend. Again, the casters are about ready, teams are getting set up. So once again, the delightful and gorgeous Anders and Semler.
Thank you very much, Scott. Now we're ready with the losers match of this one. It's going to be either Hellraisers or NiP going through, and Semler. I mean, that's a surprise, isn't it? I mean, Epsilon have really shown something here, and now the question is, what the hell happens if NiP do not make it to the playoffs of this major tournament? Just to reiterate, at DreamHack Winter, which was the first major tournament, they made it and finished second against Fnatic. At EMS1 Katowice, they ended up in second place, lost to Virtus Pro. If they don't actually make it to the playoffs this time, that would be a disaster.
Yeah, exactly. And I was talking to Get Right during the break, and going into Cobblestone, they felt very confident in NiP. They said that everything was going their way in practice, that they were just mauling teams. Nobody seemed to come close. But then speaking with Get Right, he was like, it was a completely different beast when we got onto land. All of a sudden, it felt like they knew what to do versus us. He felt that his position in particular was compromised, that they were hard countering him, and that everything really just never really seemed to click. So we have to see if NiP now, on a new map versus Hellraisers, against whom they feel confident, are they going to be able to bounce back? The maps that they're going to get rid of pretty much here, I mean, it's done now, so we can go ahead and get into it. But the maps that we expect to get rid of on NiP side, at least, are going to be Mirage and Cobblestone. They don't want to play Cobblestone again. They want to get rid of Mirage because you don't want to face Hellraisers on Mirage, essentially. They're way too good at it. So NiP want to take this to the classics, like Inferno, Dust 2. Get onto those maps and really take it to Hellraisers there.
Yeah, but Hellraisers are a terrifying team on Inferno. The fact that they lost 16-1 to Epsilon is very, very deceptive in my opinion. If you looked at that score and think, all right, well, Hellraisers lost 16-1, they're probably not that good of a team, you're horribly wrong. Hellraisers played that match so well. The only thing that made them lose was that Epsilon were playing just as well yesterday as they were today. That doesn't mean Hellraisers were playing badly. So that is, if you just go off of that one result, you're making a really big mistake. So the other thing is that Hellraisers have a history of beating NiP, and that is something you really cannot ignore. And if you take it to Dust 2, Hellraisers is a team that is basically 5 aim stars. That is not a fun, you want to play a map where you can, play Nuke against them, but they're not going to play Nuke, obviously. But if you could try and beat Hellraisers by having better rotations, better teamwork, something like that. On Dust 2 is different.
Yeah, I don't think any team is going to want to play NiP on Nuke, basically. Like, pretty much as like a veto map versus NiP. Like, you just don't play them on Nuke.
Maybe Dignitas.
If it goes to Inferno, okay, maybe Dignitas. But like, if it goes to Inferno, if it goes to Dust 2, actually, I think that NiP would be happy to go for Dust 2 because their Dust 2 play, I mean, they are solid on the map. They're confident on the map, and I think that they can get some work done because Fiflon with the AWP already, I feel like that is pretty much his map. He has really shown strong performances on Nuke with that sniper rifle. And Get Right, I mean, all of these guys just know how to play the map so well. So if it does go to Dust 2, I think NiP aren't going to be too displeased by that. But, right, Inferno would actually be good for NiP as well, seeing as how Hellraisers, yeah, sure, we can't look too much into that. I mean, really, Epsilon played like the map. But still, that's going to go in the back of Hellraisers' minds thinking, well, the last time it didn't really go our way, and NiP are good. And
the other thing to consider is that it's not entirely in their control either. I mean, we sort of end up talking about it as if though they can actually choose the map, which they can't. It's a random between the last 3 maps in the selection. So that does make a big difference here. Obviously seeing Markelov on screen right here and Kucha right next to him. Absolute legends, not just in Global Offensive, but in the whole history of Counter-Strike.
They've really been coming to life as well in Hellraisers. Like Doja is, basically that man who's really expected to do a lot for Hellraisers, the entry fraggers, like get into their face, get those frags. That's Doja, but Markaloff, Kucher, Angel, Adrian in particular. Adrian, he doesn't have 120 ping, Anders. He doesn't have a wooden PC. He's on land now, and when he's on land, Adrian comes in big. He does damage. So everybody on this team, you're right when you say it's like it's 5 aim stars. I mean, 5 of these guys are just capable of taking any kind of fight.
They definitely are. But look, guys, as we're sorting out the last technical issues, we are going to go to a really quick commercial break. So it'll just be a few seconds and we will be right back. So don't go anywhere. Invite your friends and we'll be back in a second.